Please welcome Ros McLennan.
G'day everyone. I'd like to begin in the usual way by paying respects to elders past and present. And everyone, I've been invited to speak today as General Secretary of the Queensland Council of Unions. But I've got to admit, my favourite title's still Mum. And when I see footage of kids on boats, behind wire fences, detained, frightened, witness to violence and abuse, as a mother I can't help but picture what that must be like for refugee parents and how I would feel if that were my children in that situation. Because I don't know an Australian mother who'd wait politely in a long, tenuous and often non-existent line if her children were in danger. Bloody hell, I wouldn't. Would you? You'd scoop them up and run with them, right? And it so just boggles the mind why the federal government is treating refugees who are doing the very best to get themselves and their kids out of harm's way as criminals. In fact, think about that kind of person for a minute. Someone who does whatever they can to help themselves, loves their family, wants nothing to do with war and conflict, hopes for more, puts opportunities for their children ahead of their own immediate comfort. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds very much to me like the attitude of most of the nice neighbours in my street. So I've got to say, I think that those refugee families would fit in awesome. Every article you read about refugees and their plight has got a lot of statistics in it. But you won't hear that from me, because I don't want numbers to dull our sensitivities to the very real plight and danger of every individual man, woman and child who seeks safety here in Australia. We can't allow them to be seen as just a number. Wherever there is oppression, injustice and abuse of power, this, my friends, is union business. A bit over a year ago, the Queensland Council of Unions formed a group called Unions for Refugees Queensland. You will have heard of that group in other states, so we've got our very own right now. Those of you that are union members, all of you here I hope, make sure that you get onto your union and make sure that they're part of it. We're doing our best from a peak body perspective to get everyone involved. Many of our unions have got lots of campaigns going in the refugee space right now. Some you will have heard of, others not. We're obviously all know about, I remember a lot of you from the Baby Asher vigil, so obviously you'll know a lot about that. The brave stand taken by doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals and hospital staff in support of Baby Asher was just awesome. There's also been the campaign to free Mojan. You can see the sign up there. Yep, led by the mighty Queensland Teachers Union and their workplace leaders at Yeronga State High. Now, most of you will know about this campaign, but for those of you that don't, Mojan was taken from her classroom and now remains in detention in Darwin. In a nutshell, the news is pretty bad. A formal legal submission called on Minister Dutton to use his discretion, I suppose, to allow her to apply for a partner visa while in Australia. And while advice from the department indicated that Minister Dutton could do that, he's formally indicated that he won't. So right now, Mojan faces an invidious choice: voluntarily return to Iran and face imprisonment at best, execution at worst, or be indefinitely detained. Now, back in Iran, her family has been raided by the police there, and photographs of Mojan performing and dancing have been seized, and that'll be the trigger by which the government arrest her if she returns to Iran. In addition, the Meat Workers Union have sent up an SOS for the help of the Queensland Council of Unions last week. They've got 16 Bangladeshi refugees who've been working at a South East Queensland abattoir 4 years, I've got to say 4 years, who are now being assessed and there are worrying signs that the government is not deeming them to be genuine refugees because they're financial refugees. So we're doing all we can as a union movement to circle the caravans around these union members working in a local abattoir and making sure that they're not deported and detained and incarcerated as well. It's great to be here with so many beautiful people who care. Coming together to visibly demonstrate opposition to bad policy is really, really important. It's an important start. Every one of us here has power. Power in our own workplaces, in our unions, with our family, friends and neighbours to make a real and lasting change. But we need a plan. How about this? Number one, get folks together to discuss the issue and what can be done to change things. Taking action doesn't have to mean boring. Morning teas, a cricket friendly in your local park, a big play date for those with little kids and more can all be a chance to spread the Let Them Stay message. Wherever a group of like-minded folks gather, take the opportunity to draw up a little Let Them Stay sign, take a photo of yourself and post it online. Number two, spread it. Take a Let Them Stay poster and door knocker. They're available at the rack stand or you can download them online as well. That says this door is open to refugees. And importantly, put it up. It's not going to do any good in your car or your bag, so take it home, put it up, encourage the small businesses in your neighbourhood to do likewise, ask your school, ask your workplace, put it up everywhere. Because our job isn't to take the temperature, our job's always to change the temperature. And number three, go tell the decision makers what you think. You could be forgiven for thinking that some politicians rarely listen and those that listen don't give a shit. But everyone, there's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot right now in the couple of months before the next federal election when tin ears get a miraculous clean out. So now's the time. Take the opportunity. Do something. You can always write a letter. You can always make a call. But the power of persuasion and that face-to-face engagement with your local member is something that really will convince them. Eyeball them. Tell them your stories. Explain why you care. What you know. Options for a just resolution. And calling the question on them about what they're going to do about it is incredibly powerful. If you're interested, but you haven't done this kind of thing before, look to your left, look to your right, hook up with some folks who also care that are around you here today. And you can see in the crowd, there are a lot of people with signs, okay, signs naming the various Brisbane area federal electorates. And if you're in Ford, Petrie, Griffith, okay, Ryan, Brisbane, you can see these signs all around. Now these folks need your details either now, they're going to be on the march, and they're going to be back in the park afterwards. So take the opportunity to sign up to do something. Because we can change the world together, people, but it's more than a walk in the park, am I right? Sure is. Now, we've shown that it was feet on the streets that forced a historic back down, an Olympic level backflip in the Baby Asher campaign at the hospital. But we can't relax on this because we still don't have our ironclad guarantee that here is where Baby Asher and her parents will stay because kids don't belong in detention. We've shown our politicians, our community and perhaps even ourselves that when we go hard we can make a difference. But it's time to back it in. We've found a voice, we've been heard, let's keep using it. Because what we do or don't do from today really, really matters. Who are we really? What kind of Australia do we want? Well, I want an Australia that's better, fairer and kinder. I want an Australia that lifts up and embraces refugees, the poor and the marginalised, not detains, beats and bloodies them in our name. I want an Australia that upholds the dignity of everyone, whatever their skin colour, and I want an Australia where kids are loved, valued, educated and have the opportunity to fulfil their full potential, whether they arrived here on a boat 200 years ago or 2 days ago, I don't care. And I want an Australia that turns off the sitcoms and turns on to what really matters. Refugee rights are human rights.